10 places with the worst weather in the UK. There's definitely more to touring a place than the things to see, places to visit, what to buy, best hotels, and such attractions. Have you thought about the weather in these tourist destinations? That's exactly what we're doing for you at this time. Italy issued several alerts for major tourist destinations recently as it braces for more heat, especially after one man has already tragically died due to the heat while working in construction. Greece and Spain are also counting their losses to weather. What about the UK? This video presents a list of 10 places with the worst weather in the UK, based on the data collected by a team of respected experts over 19 years, from 1991 to 2020. Number 10. Cardiff. The 10th place on this list, prepared by the experts, is Cardiff. Are you surprised that the capital of Wales and the home of the Welsh Assembly is among the 10 places with the worst weather in the UK? How could this important industrial centre have such a dismal weather pattern? Well, that's the truth. This city is one of the 2 representatives of Wales on this list. What do the facts say? It has its own weather station, namely Climate Station, inside the city. Figures from the station indicate that the city saw 1,573 hours of sunshine within the year covered. It received only 1,203 millimeters of rainfall during the 19 years. Most of the time when it rained, the rain gauge read less than 1 millimeter, surpassing the mark only 153 times throughout the period. So if you were to score Cardiff on weather on a scale of 10, what would you give it? Well, you don't have to go too far. That's been done for you, and Cardiff scores only 2.38 over 10. Yet, it's better than 9 more places in the country. Number 9. Stoke-on-Trent. Now let's go to England to find the next place on this list, and that's Stoke-on-Trent, a city and unitary authority area in Staffordshire with an area of 93 square kilometres. The nearest weather station to Stoke-on-Trent is the village of Keele, and it's about 6.4 kilometres away. During the period covered by our data, Stoke-on-Trent had about 1,448 hours of sunshine and saw just 828 millimeters of rain. Also during the 19 years, the city witnessed only 148 days when rainfall passed the 1 millimeter mark. It had always been either a little drizzly or light rainfall. The city's weather score was just 2.18 over 10, but it's not the worst. Number 8. Aberdeen. The city in the 8th position is the first and only Scottish city on this list. Interestingly, it is the northernmost major city in the UK. Can we say this is another northern city on this list? Whatever, the 3rd most populous city has weather we're not so proud of, although it's also an industrial city. Aberdeen Airport, which is about 9.6 kilometres from the city, is the closest weather station to Aberdeen. The city saw as much as 1,447 hours of sunshine between 1991 and 2000, and saw only 833 millimeters of rain. Rainfall was copious for only 148 days, so Aberdeen's score for the weather 2.18 over 10, thereby tying with Stoke-on-Trent. Number 7. Newport. We'll go back to Wales to see the next city on this list. That's the city of Newport, situated on the River Usk. Though this river is close to its confluence with the Severn estuary, the weather is still bad enough to fetch it the 7th position on a ranking like this. Usk, the closest weather station, is about 14.4 kilometres from the city. Newport saw some 1,458 hours of sunshine between 1991 and 2020, and only 1,111 millimeters of rain. The rainfall reached 1 millimeter in only 138 days. Thus, we agreed to score Newport for weather over 10, same score as the next place we're about to mention. Number 6. Burton-on-Trent. We're now back in England to see the 6th place. Burton, a market town in the borough of East Staffordshire, is one such place. Also known as Burton-on-Trent, we prefer to address it as the town upon Trent. Denstone, the closest weather station to the city, close to the border with Derbyshire, is about 22.5 kilometres away. Isn't that too far? For the 19 years covered by the data from our source, Burton, with its population of 76,300, plus had only 867 millimeters of rainfall. Burtonians, as the people of Britain are called, were, however, blessed with scorching sun for 1,407 days within those years. Rainfall reached 1 mm on the rain gauge in only 146 days. The scored Burton 177 over 1 million on the scale of weather. Number 5. Warrington. Still in England, we head straight to an industrial town in Cheshire. Warrington sits upon the bank of the River Mersey, is yet another seaside town that doesn't care enough about the amount of rainfall to give it to good weather, and it's as far as 30.5 kilometers away. That's the furthest weather station to any location on this list. Within those 19 years, it recorded only 686 millimeters of rainfall. Meanwhile, the town has had as much as 1,385 hours of sunshine during that period. On a score of 10, Warrington could only obtain 1.09. It is, thus, one of the places with the worst weather in the UK. Number 4. Belfast. We abhor partiality. Let's check with Northern Ireland also and see if it can be represented here. Oh yes, the capital of Northern Ireland also found its way to this list of the 10 places with the worst weather in the UK. The largest city in the region has Irish weather that can discourage tourists. Though on the banks of the River Langan, Belfast doesn't have enough amount of rainfall expected in that location. In this 10th largest primary urban area in the UK and the second largest city in Ireland, there was only 939 millimeters of rainfall, while the sun shone for a total of 1,277 hours. Rain reached 1 millimeter during 156 days, just like Warrington just mentioned. But Belfast scored 0.75 for the weather. The closest weather station to the city in Belfast, Newport, is about 3.2 kilometers away from Belfast. Number 3. Preston. In the third position is Preston. That's another northern city on this list. Known as the City of Preston, the local government district in Lancashire is on the north bank of the River Rubble. Yet, that proximity to the river does not have any appreciable impact on the city's weather. According to the information from the closest weather station, which is Myercoff, located some 11.2 kilometers away, the city has had as much as 1,367 hours of sun within 19 years and 1,197 millimeters of rain. The city saw rain reaching 1 millimeter for only 158 days. With all these, Preston's weather score could be 0.55 over 10. Number 2. Manchester. The famed city of Manchester comfortably fits in its place on the list of the 10 places with the worst weather in the UK. We find it hard in the second position without any contentions or contenders. Rochdale, which is about 14 kilometers away from Manchester and is the nearest weather station to the city. Between 1991 and 2020, Manchester had 1,265 hours of sunshine. The home of the legendary football pundit Gary Neville also had 1,971 millimeters of rain. Throughout the period covered by the data, it had only 171 days where the rain passed the mark of 1 millimeter on the gauge. And so, the city scored 0.2 on the scale of 10, just as the city in the top position and its neighbour, as we shall see next. Number 1. Burnley. Burnley proudly takes the crown as the place with the worst weather in the UK. You don't have to ask why. By the time we give you the figure, you won't have any more serious mental calculations before arriving in the fact that Burnley has terrible weather. Again, available figures show a clear difference between Burnley and your town. However, to those living in the town, which is also the administrative centre of the borough of Burnley in Lancashire, England, this may not be a big problem. They were born into that and are used to it. Yet, between 1991 and 2020, Burnley had 1,378 hours of sunshine and around only 1,315 millimeters of rain. According to the information from Stonyhurst, the closest weather station to the town, which is about 16 kilometers away, Burnley saw only 175 days when rainfall passed the mark of 175 millimeters. On a scale of 10, Burnley could score only 0.2. When you're next visiting the Northwest and any other places nearby, please note these 10 places with the worst weather in the UK. Kindly let us continue this discussion in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.